Hello, beautiful. Welcome to Bonnets and Pillow Talk with me, your host, Miss Fazo. This is day 15 of 75 of the 75 Hard Challenge. I'm going to quickly just go through our rules of the challenge, go through what my day was like today, and then end with our questions of the day. We have another question from my deck of cards. So let's start with hi, how was your week going so far? It's Monday for me. Whenever you're seeing this, hi, how's your week going? How are you doing? Just check up on yourself. Hi. Um, for our 75 hard challenge, I'm doing the intermittent fasting diet for my diet, and I'm doing 16 by 8, which is 16 hours of fasting and then 8 hours of eating, and my window is 2 to 10. I am so hungry between 12 and 1 p.m. You guys, listen, if anybody has tips out there, help me. Water is the only thing that's helping, and maybe just taking a nap, but oh, I'm hungry. Between 12 and 1, I'm thinking of, I wish I could adjust it, but I feel like that's such a big jump for me. I know I won't be able to have dinner before like 8. That's hard for me. So I think we'll just keep it the way that it is. I'm gonna have to thug it out. I'm an adult. I can grow some and learn to eat a little bit later. In terms of water, we're getting better at it. Right now, actually, this is how much of the water I have left for the day. I would say that's okay. I should be done with that before bedtime. In terms of our exercise for the day, I'm trying something new every single day this week in terms of my exercises. So I decided to do another dance workout because why the heck not? So I did a dance workout. It was so much fun. I'm enjoying those a lot. In another life, I could have been a dancer. Not that kind of dancer, but I enjoy dancing and just moving my body. So I think I'm gonna try another kind of dance workout tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm thinking of doing something like salsa or rumba or samba, something, with a little bit of swaying of the hips and something I can maybe wear some heels with. So tomorrow that's the plan. But I did a dance workout and I did a 45-minute walk outside. The book I'm reading is The Eight Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. And we are reading that in the mornings now. I'm just finding it's easier. As soon as I wake up, I read the book and then I change into my gym wear and I just quickly head out for the walk, come back home, and then start my day and get everything else done. And then my 30 minutes of Bible time is in the evening time just before I go to bed. In terms of the challenge so far, finding that the hardest thing has been the food part in the mornings between, well, not the morning, but between 12 and 1. I'm just so hungry. That's the hardest part in terms of like the physical. And then mentally, just getting myself out of the house when I really don't feel like doing it. That extra 45 minutes that has to be outside of the house when it's snowing is just so annoying. I just don't want to do it. But there's so many things in my life that are annoying that I still need to do. And I think it's just learning to be disciplined and learning to do the things that I need to do. So, anyways, being disciplined low key sucks a little bit. I think people glamorize it a lot, but it sucks. Sometimes I just don't want to be disciplined. Sometimes I want to just be comfortable with failing this challenge and knowing that I tried. But I can't do that because I know I can do it. So let me try. At least let me try. If I fail, and I know I've tried my best, then that's a different thing. But if I fail because I just decided I wanted to give up and it was easy for me to fail, that's not good enough for me. I gotta do better. Anyways, um, I picked up a random card today and it has two questions. So I think I'm going to just go through the first question first. The first question is, how has it been for you navigating the exposure to so many perspectives on the internet? I remember when I wrote this actually. And then the second question is, have you ever felt a sense of insert emotion, but I gave examples, displacement or confusion or overwhelmed as a result of encountering such diverse perspectives. So I think the mindset that I had, let me give you a little backstory. When I wrote this question, was based on from 2020, end of 2021, I think through to 2022. I went through a phase where I just didn't have any social media. I went through like a full social media detox. And from coming from a world where I worked in digital marketing and social media marketing and management, it was bananas for me to just quit social media cold turkey. And I mean, like, fully, like, I changed industries. I stopped working in like social media altogether, like, fully quit the industry altogether. And I just felt like it was overwhelming for me. I couldn't be on social media anymore. But when I came back to the internet, and I say came back, but when I and I came back, out of lack of a better word, but when I came back to the internet, I realized there were so many things that had changed. For starters, I came back during um the Andrew Tate era, and the what's her name, Pearl, something Pearl, um and there was this big conversation within the podcast world. I love podcasts, so that's what I inevitably just those that's the material that I listen to. It was a lot of the conversations were polarizing, like girls versus guys, feminine women versus masculine women, alpha males versus beta males. It just felt like everything was, our views were very like extreme. We no longer have like an in the middle. And I think lately, actually, let me answer the question. So that's the backstory. I had gone from having all the access to the internet in terms of working on the internet, and then I stopped working on the internet, took a whole year break, and then came back, and the internet had changed so much. Bear in mind, I have not had TikTok before, so I just don't even have a perspective of what that world looks like over there. And maybe one day I will have TikTok, but I just don't have the capacity to have an Instagram, a TikTok, the Twitter. I don't have Twitter either anymore. I think after my break, I realized I can only do a certain amount of social media time at a time. I didn't want to overwhelm myself, so I figured I love YouTube, and I love Instagram, and I love Pinterest, and everything else I'll maybe indulge once in a while, but things like TikTok, I just never got into it. So I can't even speak on that. But how has it been for me to navigate my exposure to so many perspectives on those platforms? For starters, I love going on to different creators' content, whether I agree with them or not. But I love going to different creators' content and just going through people's comment sections and seeing just how like different comments range from, like, you'll have like a range of comments from like, oh, this is such good content, I love this part of the video, this was such an interesting da 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 da, to like comments like, oh my gosh, your hair is so ugly, your skin looks weird, like left field, like just like from nowhere. And I feel like I came back to the internet that is so comfortable just judging everybody's like life. I feel like we're in each other's business. Like, this is a lot. Like, is it just me? I feel like we've gotten so comfortable with just being like so in each other's faces, so in each other's business. Sometimes it almost feels like you owe the internet your life, you owe the internet a part of yourself, that really and truly we don't owe each other that. Also, with that, I've realized like I've had to learn that I don't have to listen to everybody's advice. And I say this as a person who posts stuff on the internet, but I feel like we've reached a point where everybody has advice to give, including myself. And I think that's why I created this channel, to give myself advice. I realized I give people advice so many times, and I forget that I sometimes give some bomb advice. So what if I just gave that advice to myself? So this is why I created this channel. I just realized, I know that's sounding very echo chambery, but I just realized, like, I think there are times where I need to get other people's perspectives on things, but there are actually times where my perspective is more important and more valuable because I have the insight that other people don't have the capacity to have insight of. Like, I just will never be you. You will just never be me. We'll never experience the same things. Even siblings can live in the same house and experience this household and their parents completely different. Not because one is lying or whatever, but we just experience the world in different ways. We see the world, we interpret it in different ways. And I think I'm just learning that, like, not everybody's advice is my advice, and that's okay, one. But also, I don't owe anybody on the internet anything, and they don't owe me anything either. I think even with that, it's given me the ability to give a little bit of grace to some creators, and I even have to pull myself back sometimes before I comment something or before I say something, because I have to remind myself, like, these are just people on the internet. If I really don't agree with their opinion, I can just click off. I don't have to go out of my way to hurt another person who's just sharing an opinion. Maybe they believe it, maybe they don't believe it, but they're just sharing their opinion. Their opinion doesn't have to create a reaction out of me. And I think, have you ever felt a sense of displacement, confusion, overwhelmed, insert your word, as a result of the encountering such diverse perspectives? I think I've just lately just felt overwhelmed. I just feel like sometimes I go on the internet and I'm just like, oh, it's too much. It's too much. It is too much. It is too much. I can't do it. It's too much. People are so mean. Guys, let's be kinder to each other on the internet. People are really going through their own things. Like, nobody, I mean, I think even now I'm realizing people share a lot more, like, I'm seeing a lot more crying videos than when I was seeing in, like, 2020, 2019, even 2021. I feel like we're just more vulnerable on the internet now. The things we would have, the conversations we would have with the people who were close to us in our lives have expanded to the internet and the people that we talk to in our internet lives. I think our internet lives, in terms of our social lives, have merged so much with our actual real social lives. And I think that's a lot to do with how we had to navigate being social during the pandemic. I feel like it's changed our relationships with social media and, like, what we view as, like, the boundaries there. I think we really are in each other's business because it feels like we as a society, like, the people we call friends, is it's extended to the world of the internet. Sometimes I just feel overwhelmed by all the perspectives, and I think I'm overwhelmed because I'm realizing that this we're in an era where social media, everybody feels like we're all just trying to be friends with each other on the internet and connect with each other on the internet, and that's really beautiful. But I think with connecting, you need to be able to separate that people can have their feelings, and that's their feelings, and it doesn't have to be your feelings. Like, I think everybody's my I'm at a point in my life where I can understand, like, your feelings are valid, but feelings are feelings. They just are what they are. They don't have to have, like, these deep emotional, like, movement, like, driven decisions. No, like, you can just feel sad and it be sad, and that's it. That's it, and move on with life. Like, you can decide, I don't agree with this perspective, and be like, I don't have to take the advice, and move on. But I don't think we have that anymore in society, and that's a little bit overwhelming for me. I don't know, have you seen any changes in the internet in the last few years? My questions for you today are, how has it been for you to navigate the exposure to so many perspectives on the internet? And then the second question is, have you ever felt a sense of displacement, confusion, or being overwhelmed as a result of encountering such diverse perspectives? Let me know what you're experiencing of the internet. Am I bugging out? Like, obviously, this is me just kind of spitting up some ideas based on kind of what I'm thinking as I go along. These aren't really fleshed out ideas. If you want real fleshed out ideas, you can go to the podcast. But I'm just seeing like a little bit of a change in the way that we're relating to each other on the internet, and it's not nice. We're not being kind to each other anymore, and that really, really sucks. Like, not that we owe each other kindness, but we don't owe each other rudeness either. I think if you don't have anything nice to say, you can just keep quiet, and that's okay. Like, in the most respectful way. I'm genuinely trying to say that in the most respectful way. I think sometimes like no opinion is better than a bad opinion. Even if you really, really disagree with somebody, what will it do to you to just keep your mouth shut? Like, just let people be, let people live their lives. Like, really and truly, if we want to live in a world where we have freedom of speech, that's what comes with freedom of speech, the ability to, we're gonna have to just adapt to having different perspectives and different ideas and different, ways of thinking. But I do think as we navigate this space, it's important for us to have tact and to have grace and to lead with love and kindness for one another. And when you don't have anything kind or loving to say, you don't have to say anything, and that's okay too. And that's not even me trying to be like, oh, I'm doing this all the time. No, genuinely, this is me, something I'm learning too. Every time I comment on somebody's thing, I'm like, really thinking like, is this something that is necessary for me to say to this person? Is this gonna cause them harm? If they're going through something already, like, is this gonna cause them extra harm? If it is, then log it. Like, I don't have to say it. If it's something that's gonna bring up their day, if it's something that is gonna add value to their content, if it's a comment that's going to like encourage them to keep going, that's the stuff I'm gonna put on the internet. I don't want to put like bad stuff out there like that. I mean, I guess we can always change, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that at least while we're here, this is a safe space for everybody to have opinions, and we don't always have to agree, but we are going to lead with love here. We are going to lead with kindness here, even if we don't agree with each other's perspectives. So I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. This has been day 15. We are in week 3 of the 75 Hard Challenge. I have been your host, Miss Fuzzo, and this has been Bonnets and Pillow Talk with me. I'll see you tomorrow for day 16. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.